Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Old Testament of the Christian Bible. I use the King James Version of the Christian Bible in order to put together the prophecy of Israel. And it's important that you understand that that's what I did. I put together the bits and pieces of prophetic verse. I took them out of the context that they were printed in their little line by line, precept by precept, like Isaiah said. And I used that as the template for how I did this. So I followed the instructions set down in the prophecy itself in order to fulfill the prophecy at every stage. First, I took the Bible apart. I studied it for many years. And I put it in, I took it, well, I haven't got it in the form that I perceive that it should be in for my people. But, first of all, the New Testament would not exist in my Bible. It would be non-existent. However, the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, the prophet of Israel, his words, his prophecy, that would remain, which is why it's still here. So we take Jesus' prophecy and we add it at the end of the book of Malachi. Then we take the book, we go from the book of Psalms to Malachi. This is what I call the Ketuvim. I believe that David and other subsequent musicians from ancient times did write prophecy, but they weren't the major prophets. That's why I started Psalms. Now, the prophecy itself begins properly at the book of Isaiah. Now, I used several passages from Psalms and Proverbs in the prophecy. So I take and divide the Bible there, which brings us to the Torah, the first part of the Hebrew Bible. This is the history of the people of Israel. Everything from the biblical creation of mankind by the grave through the flood up to this point. This is history. Now, from Psalms to Malachi, there is history. And so we take all of the history part of the Ketuvim and we attach it to the end of Job, which leaves us with the prophetic verses. Now, Psalms and Proverbs were only used sparingly to clarify points. Because if I were to use the entire volume of those books, it would have made the Book of Zion much, much larger book. So I did not use the repetitive verses from Psalms, nor did I write the Book of Morality, which is the Book of Proverbs, and I left that there because it is a moral teachings, and it should be the basis of, one of the bases of our moral laws in Zion. So, what we do is we look at it in this proper way. Genesis to Job is history. Psalms to Malachi is current events. The New Testament is the basis of the foundations of all that is about to go bye-bye with prophecy. So, the New Testament is to be disregarded, except for the prophecy of Jesus. If you get high and use drugs, or if you're concerned with current events, you need to read the Ketuvim. You need to know, if you want to know what the Bible says is going to result of all the things that are happening right now, COVID-19, Trump, Black Lives Matter, then read the book of Isaiah. Because the book of Isaiah gives you a detailed set of events that are going to be occurring from this point on. I have no doubt that my people will be coming here. I can already see them lining my streets. Their tents in every public space in this area. Because that's what we're going to be doing. We're not going to be invading private property when we gather to our tents. We're going to be self-quarantining in our tents. Each family that will come will create, they'll set up their tents, they'll mark out enough space for each person to have 6 feet of moving space within their compound. They will take, well, we'll get to that later. They'll take and build a barrier at the edge of their compound. And the family unit will stay in that compound. They're self-quarantined. We're going to stay, we're coming here to York because that's where I am, because it's the crossroads of America, and because it's the best place to gather. When we start gathering together, we will organize ourselves into guilds. The guilds will help us to Minecraft everything we need out west in the prairie. We're going to go back to the settler type of situation in our tents. We will each find a space that's big enough to quarantine, build a compound, build a shelter, dig in literally, and plant a garden so that we can sustain ourselves long term. And by self-quarantining in the open, in our tents, we can dissipate the virus. We can stop COVID-19 in our tents. It's the only logical way for people who have no place else to go to band together for mutual need. The government is not helping you. But I have the plan set up by the Ketuvim for us to follow as a nation. Don't trust me, okay? Trust the Ketuvim. Trust the Bible. Trust God. Whether you call him Allah, Krishna, Vishnu, Thor, whatever you call him. because he is the echo of a bygone God, those who from the heavens came, aliens. And I have contact, personal, one-on-one, telepathic contact with God, with the Gray, with those who from the heavens came. And we have a plan. Do you want to follow this plan? Or do you want to follow Trump? Or do you want to follow Biden? I think when push comes to shove, the majority of Americans would rather follow this book or any other sacred text. Because in Zion, all sacred texts from all religious books are required reading for the priests of Zion. I haven't just read this book. I've read Hindu Sanskrits. I have read Buddhist teachings. I have read Taoist teachings. I have read Zoroastrianism. I have read the Gnostic texts. I have read history. I have read mythology. I have read science. And I have put them all together into one unified plan to get us out of COVID-19 and Trump and police brutality. I have an answer to the police state, a means by which we can self-govern, address all police-related issues in a logical, psychiatric-based way. Because you call the cops when you have a problem with emotions or something's going wrong. So, we put together a team that can deal with all those issues. Someone to take care of your emotional problems. Someone to mediate in disputes. Somebody to logically govern the situation. Someone who has the capability to literally stop the violence from happening on a telepathic level. You might not believe that telepathy is real, but that doesn't mean it's not real. Trump says that coronavirus isn't real, that wearing masks isn't necessary, but it is. He's an idiot. But you call me an idiot because I'm telling you that I'm talking telepathically with little gray aliens that are blue. Okay, so think I'm crazy if you want to. But when you're out on the streets of the city choking on the polluted air, look up. And when you see those UFOs flying over your head, you'll know they're your answer. They're there to show you that they're here to help in our time of need. Why do you think you always see them just before something bad's happening on the planet? It's not because they're causing it, it's because they're there to ensure that lives are saved, that the best possible scenario plays out. Because they watch over you, they guide you, they protect you, and they teach you right from wrong. You need to be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. Find your joy, be your joy, pursue your joy. Stay happy and high. Know I love you. See you in your tens. Later, because I'll never say goodbye.